everyone, welcome to YourPedia and this is Shubhya. So here I have brought a video for you where I'm covering a good number of high frequency words. So as always, we are targeting 10 words every week. And see, the number of the frequency words will help you to increase your vocabulary. Plus, they are going to help you crack your GRE exam by helping you out in your text completion, sentence equivalence and the reading comprehension. Apart from it, if you are preparing for any other exam too, there is a list of only 1000 high frequency words and you need to be well versed in these words to crack any exam, you can say any random examination, right? So let's get started, and the entire, you can say, the pattern from where we have taken these words is a replica of, you can say, the Manhattan, right? So we are covering 10 words, and sooner you will see that here we have completed all the vocabulary which were starting from alphabet A. Now we are moving to alphabet B in this only, and this is a happy news for all our kids who have been preparing that yes, our alphabet A has been completed. So we are left with a few more alphabets. You will say, ma'am, 25 alphabets, but A has a more number of, you can say, the vocabulary words. So A is the highest and the enriched one. Calculate it out. Z has the least one, Z has the least one, and A has the highest one. So yeah, we have completed one vocabulary word, and even if you do it very nicely, you will be applauding yourself that yes, some of the vocabulary words approximate to 100 have already been in our bucket list. So let's get started with this. So what are the words of today? First is avid, second is axiom, third bulk, balloon, panel, bane, base, bang, belly and beneficient. Now the pronunciation can vary because sometimes you pronounce it out in a different manner, and that is okay. All you need to remember it out, the words, the spellings and their meanings, right? So let's go with the very first word. Avid. Something have always said that he's an avid reader. Avid means someone who is very passionate, right? Someone who has got a great passion, who has a keen interest in something, that is termed as an avid person. An avid person, an avid person is an passionate person, or you can say enthusiastic, all ready to do wonders. So that is an avid. So someone who is greedy, zealous, ardent, enthusiastic, hungry, voracious, right? So passionate person, greedy to have more and more knowledge, enthusiastic, passionate. James is an avid supporter of any organization, like a keen supporter, an enthusiastic supporter that is trying to improve the environment. Next is your axiom. Axiom means that is some kind of a general truth, or you can state as a statement. So general truth and statement. Here the word maxim, I tell you, like I was recording some of the sentence equivalents for you, right? So maxim was a word over there. Now you will see like high frequency words are being asked in the options of sentence equivalents. So that is why you need to learn it very wisely. So axiom, that is maxim, principle, postulate, dictum or fundamental. So some kind of a fundamental, that is a truth. General statement, that is termed as axiom, right? So here you have a rule or principle that many people accept as true. Although you keep using that axiom as a basis for your paper, the concept itself is not true. So that is some kind of a general statement or some kind of an acceptable truth, that is termed as axiom, right? So see, till now we have covered, like in our older and older videos, we have completed all the words vocabulary of A. Now we are going to start with the vocabulary B, right? So B, the very first word is bulk. What do you mean by bulk? Bulk means when you are hesitating or unwilling to accept something, or you can say some truth. So right, when you are hesitating to accept something or you are resisting it out to something, that is termed as bulk. So you are checking, you are resisting, you are defeating, you are preventing, you are hindering. So that is termed as bulk, right? So what can be the definition? Refuse to comply, refuse to agree with something. While my dog loves to go for a walk in good weather, he will always bark if he gets the slightest whiff of rain in the air. So he resists to move out. So bark means when you hesitate or resist to move out or to agree with. Next you have is balloon. Balloon, you will say, ma'am, that is just an inflation, or you can say something that you can say small colored rubber bag that is inflated with air. So something that you call it out as balloon, right? So but here what I'm targeting out, that's something that is swelling out, increasing out, inflating out. That is also termed as balloon, right? So that is enlarging, swelling, plumping, belling, expanding. That is also termed as balloon, right? So here we have option, that is to swell, to bloat, to increase. Attendance has ballooned more than 10-fold over the 16 years. That is, it is expanding slowly and steadily, right? Next you have is banal. Banal means something you will say that lacks in originality and something that is very boring, or something that is not original, boring, lacking originality. That is termed as banal. So that is something you can say common, corny, stocky, stale, commonplace, threadbare. So that is termed as banal, right? So here you have the option. Boring because it contains nothing new and lacks originality, because that's quite boring. It does not have the originality. Because the movie's plot was banal, we knew exactly how the film would end, right? So because the movie was not very interesting, so we knew that the plot would have a very boring or not a good ending, right? Next you have is bane. So this is a word like boon and bane. So something that is a curse. It has a negative context, right? So bane is some kind of a curse, something that you have a distress, you are annoyed, you are ruining something. So that is to some kind of a death, curse. So here pest, toxin, poison, scourge, plague, blight, that can be called as bane. So remember it out. Boon is a positive word, bane is a negative word, right? Next you have bane and something causing misery or death. So something that has a negative apprehension. Distraction is a bane of productivity when I'm trying to get anything done, right? So distraction is there and I'm not able to get anything done. Base. Base means something that is a ground, that is a foundation. Foot, founding, establishment, basis or groundwork of something. That is termed as base. The lower part or the foundation of something, that is termed as base, right? So it is lacking or indicated the lack of higher qualities of mind, lacking higher values. So just the ground portion, foundation portion. Next you have is the baying, B-A-Y-I-N-G. Baying is when you're crying, when you're shouting and you have very deep cries. So you're crying loudly, you're shouting. That can be called as baying. Roaring, barking, yelping, yap, bellowing, that is baying, right? So making a howling or a yelping sound. The wolf continued baying at the moon, letting out a lone cry every few minutes, right? So the wolf was continuously baying, that is continuously shouting or yelping or crying it out, right? Next you have is belly, B-E-L-I-E. Belly means something that is contradict, that fails to give some free impression or true impression of something. So you're contradicting something, you're falsifying something, you're negating something, you're not giving a true impression of something. That is termed as for belly, right? So that is to give false impression of. Janice hoped her smile would belly the sadness she felt. So that is evaporate out, to give a false impression of that okay, she was happy. So last is your beneficent. Beneficent means like when you're very generous, you're doing good to others, you're kind to others, philanthropic. That is termed as beneficent. So that is prone to doing kind and generous things. When you're doing good for the society, it's a positive word. My beneficent neighbor gives out meals to poor every Sunday. That is someone who is a very kind and a generous philanthropic person. That can be called as beneficent. So see, we have all done the 10 words and I'm going to revise all the words with you. Here I always bring out a quiz, but this time I always want that more and more you should solve it out, because you will find it way more interesting. Here some images are given. So here we try to, like, it is yelping, it is crying. So there was some word that was justifying it. So this is like list of some words and you need to capture it out. Please download the PDF and solve it on your own. Before I say bye to you, let's revise the words. So first is avid, that means person who is very passionate. Axiom is some kind of, you can say, general truth or accepted statement. Balk is when you're hesitating or unwilling to do something. Balloon is when you're expanding, swelling about something. Banal is with something that lacks in originality and something that is very boring. Bane is negative cause that causes misery. Base is a foundation one. Baying is some kind of howling, or you can say crying in pain, or you're crying loudly. Roaring. Belly is when you're giving a false impression of something, and beneficent is a person who is kind and generous. So here the word you will feel that it can be baying, right? So see, there are different contexts, what the words they are trying to show, like it's very boring, it's expanding. So what can be there? Balloon, right? So here you have such things, and it will be very interesting for you to solve it out. Please solve it out and practice more and more. Make your own notes, and I wish you all the best. Keep learning. We have done with the category A, and now I'll bring words for you with the category B. Take care. Have a nice day.